everybody, welcome to the 𝐂𝐸𝐿 Way. I'm Jessica. Today's video is going to be a video we have never done before. I'm going to be sharing a week in the life of our homeschool. So instead of sharing a day, I thought I would share a whole week so you can get a better look at what multiple days look like, because no 2 days ever look the same. This way you'll have a better idea of what our homeschool in the summer is actually like. I go into the week with a very broad general idea of things I would like to see us get done, but I don't have any kind of particular plan. So I am going to be just as shocked as you to see what we actually managed to do this week in our homeschool.
Our summer homeschool days are relaxed but still full of meaningful learning. This morning started slow with breakfast and a discovery deck card from our Florida, Flora, and Fauna set. Today's question was, what does a manatee do all day long? Emily guessed right. Manatees pretty much just eat and nap. After breakfast, she headed outside to swing for a bit while it was still cool. She's been listening to Skyward by Brandon Sanderson on audiobook and loving it, so she brought that along with her. I love that even when she's outside getting fresh air, stories are still a part of her day. Once she came back in, we curled up for basket time together. I read aloud from Money Skills for Teens. We're trying to work a little personal finance into our summer. Then we switched gears and read Uncle Monday and Other Florida Tales. Today's tale was about how the gopher turtle was made, well, more like imagined, in a tall tale kind of way. It sparked a fun discussion about folklore versus fact. Next up was a chapter from Who Was Ponce de Leon, because we're deep into Florida history right now. And then we read 4 chapters from 𝐂𝐸𝐿 by 𝐂𝐸𝐿. Emily colored while I read, which is one of her favorite ways to focus and relax. We're both hooked on the book, and we can't wait to see how the story unfolds. After that, we dove into our fascinating Florida lesson for the day, Florida's geography and climate. We read, discussed, and then she did the true or false questions to check her understanding. To wrap up our school time, we played a few rounds of Top Trumps, 30 Things to See in Florida, which is the perfect mix of learning and fun. And yes, she beat me. Then we moved on to the classic edition of Payday. We played 3 months, and when it was all said and done, she had over $40,000 in the bank, and me, a modest $15,000. Let's just say maybe I'm the one who needs to work on personal finance this summer. Tuesday took us out of the house and into one of our favorite historic towns, St. Augustine. We had some errands to run, but in true homeschool fashion, we turned the day into a field trip. Since we were already in the area, we made a stop at Casa de San Marcos Fort, and it was absolutely worth it. The 3 of us took our time walking through all the rooms, soaking in the history. Every corner had a story, and Emily was especially curious about the old cannons and the way the fort was built to defend the coastline. It was such a cool way to bring our fascinating Florida unit study to life. Reading about Florida's colonial past is one thing, but standing inside a centuries-old coquina fort, that hits differently. We stumbled upon a living history exhibit featuring medical tools from the colonial era. And honestly, it was both fascinating and a little cringeworthy. It sparked a conversation about how far we've come with healthcare and how grateful we all are for modern medicine. There was also someone demonstrating traditional loom weaving, which tied in perfectly with our interest-led learning style. It was a beautiful reminder that history isn't just something you read in books, it's something you can see, touch, and experience. Wednesday started with a card from our Florida, Flora, and Fauna discovery deck. The question was, how do mangroves grow in water? It led to a quick discussion about their special root systems and how they're able to survive in salty, swampy conditions. After that, we headed outside for a short family nature walk. We stayed close to home and brought along our Florida Plant ID Guide, one of those laminated pamphlets that's easy to flip through. We focused on identifying local trees like pine, oak, and palms. It wasn't a long walk, it's summer in Florida after all, but it gave us a chance to slow down and connect what we're learning to the real world around us. When we got back inside, we made lunch and played our homemade headbands guessing 10 combo game while we ate. Each of us picked an animal card, and the challenge was to figure out what we were by asking only yes or no questions. After lunch, we moved into basket time. We read the next section of our Florida, Flora, and Fauna lesson, followed by a chapter from Who Was Ponce de Leon and 2 more chapters from 𝐂𝐸𝐿. Emily colored while I read aloud. It helps her stay engaged and lets her listen more deeply. After reading, Emily chose a writing project from Fascinating Florida. The one she picked asked her to write a story from the perspective of a Florida animal. She chose a fox and wrote a short, imaginative story about what a day in its life might look like. Next, we worked through a budgeting lesson from before personal finance. We talked about income, expenses, saving, and making smart money choices. Then we played Budget, a board game that applies those ideas through real-world scenarios. Before wrapping up our homeschool day, we opened up Canva and finished creating Emily's spring newsletter. She added her own updates, selected the layout, and helped design the final version. Once it was done, we printed them, folded and stuffed the envelopes, and got everything ready to mail out to her friends and family. Thursday started off with some independent work. Emily watched a card from our financial literacy discovery deck. The question was, what gives our dollar value? It gave her a chance to think about how our money system actually works. After that, she got to work on one page from her summer activity workbook. It was a 2-sided page with math on one side and geography on the other. For math, she practiced plotting points on a grid, then she flipped it over and answered map-related questions. Once she finished her work, we decided to take advantage of the absolute beautiful weather and we headed outside to the pool. We spent about 2.5 hours swimming and playing games. We brought out a few of our favorite waterproof games like Spot It and Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, which always ends in a lot of laughs. We also played addition and multiplication war with waterproof playing cards. It's such an easy way to work in math review without it feeling like school. After some pool games, we each grabbed our Kindles and floated for a while to read. Emily is currently reading 𝐼𝐴, the Mighty Cat Detective, the first in the book series. When we came inside, we were definitely feeling the effects of a long afternoon in the sun. We kept it low-key and picked up where we left off in Hoot, reading another 3 chapters. Then Emily spent some time working through the vocabulary and comprehension activities from our novel study for the week. She liked matching the terms and working through the short answer questions, especially since it tied into right where we had just left off reading. We woke up Friday morning to thunderstorms, and not just like a quick passing shower. After checking the forecast, it was clear it was going to be one of those classic Florida days with rain on and off all day long. So we decided to make the most of it, and we declared it a game school day. Emily and I started off the morning with some of our favorite 2-player games. We played multiple rounds of Connect 4, Shut the Box, and Avocado Smash. It was a fun way to ease into the day without needing to pull out any books or lesson plans. Later in the morning, Kevin joined us and we kept the games going the rest of the day. We played Roll For It, 𝐂𝐤, Dragon Slayer, 𝐅𝐭𝐞, Dragonwood, and Animal Trivia Challenge. Some were fast-paced and silly, others took a little more strategy, but every one of them brought something different to the table. It wasn't a typical homeschool day, but games like these cover more learning than most people realize. Math, logic, memory, even cooperation and communication. Plus, spending the whole day together as a family with no rush or schedule was a great way to wrap up the homeschool week.